Welcome to the channel. We're your hosts. My name is Quentin Horton,
And I'm Aaron Curry.
and this is
It's
Secrets
Secrets
to
to
Sexy.
Sexy.
Been a long time coming, my brother.
Man, like 6-7 years. You feel like you.
We already tired. We haven't even
Man,
started the show.
I know. It feels like we've been doing, but we've talked about it for a long time. And I think sometimes that's just part of the journey, right? You talk about it until you make it a reality. And I think the time is now for us to tell people some of the things we've been through, what we've learned, and learn with others.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell them some of the things that we can expect from the channel.
So again, thank you for coming to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. At a high level, what they can expect is really just to define, our intention is to help them define what sexy is, what that looks like,
Yep.
because we know it's different for everyone, right? And then how do you become the sexiest version of yourself, whether it's through correction, like a course correction, gaining confidence, or just personal growth in general. So that's at a high level what we'll be discussing on this channel.
Absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, guys, if you like the content, if you feel like this can be a part of your growth journey and your fitness journey, please like, subscribe, comment as well, because we want to get your feedback on some topics that you would like for us to discuss, because we want to grow together, right? It's not that we've mastered everything, but we have learned a lot. So hopefully you take this journey with us. All right, so let's get into it. The name creation of Secrets to Sexy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna let Aaron AC take it because he created the name, but he also tells the story better than I do.
Hilarious.
So go
Am
ahead.
I telling the truth?
You can tell 80% of the truth.
We tell y'all 80%. So,
He's a-
he came to me, was like, man, I got some good name ideas for the company. It's like, how about XX Hardcore Fitness? And this is like, no, I'm dead serious. It was like the most ridiculous name.
No.
But I was like, it's a partnership, so I didn't want to shut him down. I was just like, yeah, that's cool. When you the high pitched voice,
Right.
it's like, you're lying.
It's not cool.
And I was like, those are good. What about this, man? I think this is solid. How about Secrets to Sexy? And he kind of paused. He was like, but it's fitness. And I was like, yeah, it is fitness. But that's what fitness is about. It's about being sexy. It's about feeling sexy and feeling like the best version of yourself. And I was like, to me personally, and I know to him as well, I was like, fitness is a lifestyle. It's something that you should wake up and want to do. It's no different than brushing your teeth. It's something that should be a part of you once you really adopt it and make it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And with that name, it just felt like more than just like working out, right? More than
Right.
just like fitness. I'm going to the gym for that hour and then it's over with. It's like, no, secrets to sexy. The secrets to being sexy and maintaining that discipline, staying motivated is by making it a lifestyle, making sexy a lifestyle and kind of like diving into it and processing it from that lens. So
I actually love the fact that you had that vision, because at the time I was thinking like mixing something that's sexy with fitness, but from a more raunchy, inappropriate standpoint. And you were looking at it more so from just a vision, having a name that could encompass not just fitness, but a lifestyle.
absolutely.
And at first, when I heard it, I was thinking like, my first thought is I think like cosmetic company or something. But when I really thought about, even when people approach us in the gym and they ask us like, how are you doing what you're doing?
Right.
They're not just asking like what workouts we're doing. They're asking like, what do you believe about yourself that gives you that level of discipline to get your body and your fitness and your mind the way you've gotten it? And it really is like the secrets to sexy.
Absolutely.
So when I kept thinking about it and I kept saying it over and over, like, secrets to sexy. It had alliteration to it. I was like, okay, it had a nice little ring. I was thinking about the logo, the number 2, and I was like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And the more I started saying it, I was like, nah, this is not just it for a fitness company, but this is gonna be a name that's gonna be bigger than we even know it's gonna be. It was a big enough name to cover our entire vision.
Absolutely. Because we wanted it to transcend fitness.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that name, described that feeling. Because really, like you said, it's secrets. People are like, how do you do this and how do you do that? And it's like, it's more than me waking up and drinking water and stretching and going to it's a mentality. And you have to shift that mentality, and you really do have to treat it like, okay, there's some secrets and things that I have to unlock and learn so that I can maintain this. It's all about sustainability, right? to stay
Absolutely.
sexy. You
Absolutely.
know.
And you know, another thing to piggyback off of that, I think that we knew that we were intellectuals beyond the gym. So I think part of that was like we didn't want to be just another company that sold push-ups and diets and crash diets and all these hacks. It's like, no, we want to teach you how to change your core belief system so that you're in alignment with this fitness lifestyle as well as just personal growth in general. So we needed a name that could basically incentivize people to say, like, let's go beyond, push-ups and nutrition. Let's
Nothing
keep it.
wrong with push-ups, guys. Like, do your
Yeah,
push-ups
we,
every
we
day.
got programs
Let's
with
do it.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in order for it to be
It's just more
sustainable,
than that.
it,
Yeah,
it you
has to
have to
be.
change the way what you believe about yourself first. That's the only way you get sustainable. Otherwise, you get fit for the summer. We've seen
Yep.
it. I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yep.
Fit for the summer,
Yep.
10 pounds, 15 pounds, and then you go right back to what you truly believe about
Exactly.
yourself. So,
Yep.
with that being said, let's get to the $1,000,000
Okay.
question. Since her name is Secrets to Sexy.
Of course.
What is sexy?
Ooh, you better be careful here. You know, it's a very touchy,
Right.
touchy society.
Right.
We
If I
live
say,
in,
oh,
you
you
know?
got to have a 32
Hey,
waist,
you better
and
be
you're going to
careful
get
what you
attacked.
say.
Right. Absolutely. It's a touchy subject, but it goes beyond just aesthetics. AC, why don't you expound on that? Like, what is sexy to you?
Sure. Well, I'm a writer, right? So I like to break things down into acronyms and whatnot, so I can like keep it in my mind. So for me, I've had people ask me this before, so I broke it down years ago into this acronym CAPE. I like to call it CAIPP.
Okay.
And for me, it's the C is confidence, right? I think confidence is something that you kind of it's a non-negotiable in order to be sexy and exude sexiness. You have to have a level of confidence. And there's a difference between confidence and cockiness or being an asshole, right? But like confident, you know you're that person because you put the work in, you're disciplined, you're motivated, you have a confidence, and then you don't really have to walk around saying it. So that's the C, right? A is for authenticity. I think in order to be confident, in order to be sexy, that's a huge part about your sexiness too, is being authentic to who you are, not trying to be someone else, like not trying to look like I don't try to look like Q. Q doesn't try to look like me. Like, women, the same thing. Like, own who you are, own who you want to be authentic to yourself. Like, if you can work out 5 days a week, great. If you can only work out 2 days a week, then that is what it is. But maximize those 2 days and be authentic to what your capabilities are. Um, that's authenticity. CA. It's like we're playing a game of horse.
Right.
HO. So
Letter I.
right. So intelligence. For me, that's another right. That's
Absolutely.
another non-negotiable. Like
Absolutely.
you have to have a degree of intelligence. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, but you have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to seek to want to understand. You have to hold yourself accountable. Like intelligence encompasses a lot of different facets of just life in general. So
Yeah.
intelligence is important for
Absolutely.
men and for women.
Absolutely.
And then for the P, the first P that is presence. I think when you're sexy and you know it and you've done the work, it's your lifestyle, it's kind of just who you are. You have a presence. You can walk through a door and people look like, who is that?
Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn, but I feel like when I walk into a place, if someone's never seen me before,
Every time.
right? Like
Every time.
and it's not. I'm not walking in. Oh, it's me. I'm Aaron Curry. It's just like I have a confidence about me in a swag where it's like, oh, who he has a presence about him. I wonder what he does.
Right.
And there's always like a conversation starter. So presence is big for men and for women. I think you have to have that again to get to this P, to get to the presence. You have to have a confidence about yourself, authenticity. You have to feel intelligent to get you to presence. And then the last but not least for me is purpose. Purpose is huge. Like once you know what your purpose is and who you are, who you're supposed to be, and even if you're not where you want to be or where you're supposed to be, like you know where you're going, you know what your purpose is, you know how to get there. That's so confident and sexy to me. Even a woman that's like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't have kids yet, or I don't do this yet, but they know how to get there. They know what it takes to get there. That purpose is everything. So, CAPE, CAIPP. That's my like quick tutorial of like what sexiness is to me personally. And I think everyone's gonna have a different definition. Everyone's gonna look at it differently, but to me, I think sexy gets a negative connotation, like a lot, because it's like even remember when we were filming one day and the older lady was like, "So sexy? What is this like a? It's like a what is? I forgot what she asked.
Like a porn
Yes,
thing or
it was
something?
like
She's associated with porn
we
just
were
because
like,
the word
no,
sexy is like.
but sexy is like it's sexy. Sexy doesn't mean raunchy or wearing no clothes or anything. It's a state of mind, right? It's a state of being. It's like you're just confident in who you are and who you want to become because we should be growing every day. I don't think sexiness is a thing where it's like, oh, I've achieved the ultimate level. I'm it. It's like, no, you should be wanting to get sexier and grow and mature every day.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think the acronym encompasses everything there is about sexy. I love every acronym. You had confidence. Authenticity is a big thing. I think authenticity is heavily tied to how well you know yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes people don't spend enough time within meditation, reflection to really understand who's the real you. You know, if you don't spend enough time in your own energy, it's very easy to start emulating and imitating other people because you have a disconnect between who you really are. So I think we've done a good job, you know, growing. We do a lot of
Yeah,
meditation,
yeah.
prayer to really understand like, oh, this is AC, this is who I am. This is Q, this is who I am, this is how I move. So that we're operating in that authenticity you were talking about. And
Absolutely.
intelligence, man.
You know, I'm big on
Intelligence,
that. Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
Intelligence and intellect. And it's not just about, in my opinion, it's not about knowing everything, right? It's
Right.
not about being a smartass. It's more
It's the
about,
opposite, actually.
yeah,
It's
it's
being
more about being
vulnerable.
a student. It's
Absolutely.
like the fact that you're a student makes your intellect. The fact that you
Absolutely.
want to learn.
Yes.
The fact that you want feedback. You want somebody to tell you your shortcomings so you can become aware of it and grateful of it so that you can change versus allowing your ego to get in the way of growth. You know, one reason why we've maintained friendship for so long is because we're able to give each other that feedback
Right.
without it being like, no, I'm that dude.
Right,
I ain't
right,
gotta listen.
right,
It's like
right.
it might hit you a little bit, but when you always go back and you try to observe, but is it true though? And if there's any truth to it, we make those corrections.
Yeah.
It helps us grow, and it strengthens our friendship. So
Absolutely.
it's like I've always told my clients, is like, and my friends, like the reason why AC is my best friend is because I'm able to come to him with whatever conflicts, and he's able to absorb it and say, you know what, he's right about that.
Yep.
All right, cool, bet. I'll
Yep.
make these
Yep.
adjustments
Yep.
because it's worth it.
Yep.
You know, and stuff.
We
So
like to call them software updates. We do little software updates for each other here and there.
software updates for real.
Yeah.
Two things I want to add on to it, which I think it does encompass it, but I want to expound on it. There's energetic sexy. It's not just aesthetic. And that's the main thing about this channel. We're not just talking aesthetics. It's just a part of sexy, right? But energetic sexy is the energy that you bring into a room to make people feel like you're irresistible. To have this charisma, it's the ability to galvanize people where they want to be in your energy. And then the second thing is emotional sexy, which is how you make people feel about themselves when they feel safe,
Yep.
when they feel heard, when they feel like, oh, I matter. That is another form of sexy I think people underrate
Right.
sometimes, where they don't realize this is a huge part of why sometimes you might see a
Right.
unattractive girl with a hot
Yeah,
chick.
yeah, yeah,
And it's not
exactly.
always just because of his
Yep.
power. It can be just the way he's able to make
Make
her
her
feel.
feel.
Some of the other guys that she knows she probably could get, it's like they just can't make him feel this
Yep.
way and
Yep.
stuff. So I think the acronym is ingenious.
Appreciate that. It's crazy how a four-letter word, sexy, can have so much meaning to it.
Right.
When you really break it down, I think that's a part of being sexy, is being able to break down your shortcomings and the things you need to work on, and knowing that none of us are perfect, and just I could go on and on about it because it has so many, so many meanings, man. So I
Right.
love it. I love what we're talking about. Yeah.
And I also think that like there's two types of people. There are people that are fighting to stay the same,
Yeah.
and there are people that are fighting to grow. So you have to pick a side.
Yeah.
If you're fighting to grow, your cup is half full. But if you're fighting to stay the same, your cup is half empty. You know, you're gonna find yourself with diminishing relationships because relationships are just like anything else. It always has to grow and expand.
Yep.
And as it's growing and expanding, you have to grow and expand. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're gonna find a lot of your relationships dwindling. If you have a hard time keeping friendships, partnerships, it's probably connected to your inability to grow potentially. So take a look at that, guys.
Might be a little unsexy.
Right. You might have a
Right,
sexy
right.
deficit, you know?
Sexy
Just saying.
deficit. Oh my God.
All right, so let's get into the predominant, I would say interpretation of what most people think sexy is, which is the physical part of sexy, the appearance, like the first thing that you see. So I want to know from you, because I know that, everybody always very sensitive when they talk about sexy because there is a lot of subjectivity to it, but there is also a lot of objectivity to it. So why is it that most people, when they think about the word sexy, it's always about the appearance, the aesthetics, the look, the waistline, the this, the chain, the go? Why is it so outside in like aesthetic versus like some of those intangibles? Like, what is it about that?
Well, let's call a spade a spade. Like what you see is kind of what you get typically. So like you're a trainer. If I look at you and I see how you take care of yourself and you're shredded, I want to train with that guy. if I see a trainer that's out of shape, like why would I want to train with him? Let's just being honest. If I see a beautiful woman, like I'm going to. That's what I see first.
Right.
It's not. It's not only about beauty. It's just beauty is what catches my eye because I might meet a beautiful woman and find out she's a terrible person, and
Right.
then I'm like I'm over it, right? Or
Yeah.
I might, but it's the first thing that's going to draw me in, right? If you see a beautiful car, like that's you're attracted to the car because it's a nice looking car. If
Yeah.
you see a beautiful person, you're attracted initially because it's a beautiful looking person,
Yeah.
and then you make your determination from there. So it's like we got to stop being so sensitive and saying, well, what's about what's on the inside? Of course, it's about what's on the inside,
Right.
but where? How do you get to the inside?
Right.
It's like when you do a recipe or you're cooking food, like you don't just get to the end of the meal. You have certain things, you steps you have to take to get it to taste that good.
Right.
So it's the same with like looking at someone. You're like, okay, that's someone I would date. That's someone that looks pretty aesthetically. Now let me figure out what else they have. What are their deficiencies? What are their pros? What are all those things? But I mean, beauty is it's the eye of the beholder. Like that's what's going to capture my attention first. It
Absolutely.
just is what it is. I know that like when I used to work in corporate, like a lot of jokes came like, oh, you're so fit and you're so this and that. But I had a one manager tell me he was like, one of the things I love most about you is your commitment to taking care of yourself because that tells me how hard you're going to work in the workworkplace. Like
Right.
that tells me you're determined, you're motivated, like you have a goal and you stay focused on that goal until you achieve it.
Right.
So I think like it tells a lot about a person when they take care of themselves and their aesthetic is fly. And aesthetic, by the way, isn't just like your face and how beautiful your features are and your hair. It's like how do your clothes fit you?
Yeah.
What type of clothes do you wear? Are you always in sweats and tennis shoes, or do you know how to dress up? Do you know how to put yourself together? It's
Right.
aesthetic is so much more than just um, the superficial things that most people think about when you're like, oh, that's a pretty woman or a beautiful man. It's like it's how do you look and how do you feel? Because the way you look is going to determine how you carry yourself. If you don't feel sexy, you're probably not gonna walk around looking sexy. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Right.
Like if I didn't take care of myself, I probably wouldn't feel good, and I wouldn't have that confidence and authenticity and that presence and intelligence and all those things we talked about because it's like that's I am the billboard, I am the package. What people look at me right, and
You
they're
s-
like,
you said
ooh,
the key word.
there's something about him, but it's all of those things. It's not just my face
Yeah. Absolutely.
or muscles. It's
You,
like that's the last thing.
you said the key word that I always use, billboard. I feel like when you talk about physical sexy, your body is a billboard for how you treat yourself. So it's the biggest indicator to get a clue as to how you feel about yourself. And so, yes, we live in a world where we don't have time to get to know a million people on the inside, right? You make snap judgments based on what you see. If somebody walked into a bank and had a ski mask on and a gun, you wouldn't try to get to know him to see if he was dangerous. You'd be like, motherfucker probably dangerous, so let me
Right.
step back and get out of here, right? So it's the same thing when we see people that may not take care of themselves well or may not carry themselves well. Most of the time, in most case scenarios, we know there's always exceptions, but generally speaking, if you don't take care of yourself well, it's probably connected to either mental health issues, spiritual health issues, or just the inability to have the esteem that you deserve, right? When people are looking to acquire another friend or a business partner or a romance partner, they're not looking for a liability. They're looking for somebody that's either on their level or can help them get to the next level
Yep.
if they care about themselves. So is it in their best interest to choose someone who struggles within their own personal life? No, it's just not, you know. And so I think for me, physical sexy is important because it's the first thing that we see to get a snapshot to what type of person we might be dealing with. Again, there's always exceptions, but I do believe that a lot of people struggle in relationships because they don't fit the package,
Yep.
which is really an internal process. You have to change how you feel about yourself so that your billboard represents how much you actually love yourself.
Yeah, you want
My take.
someone that's equally yoked to you. Like if I like to wake up at 5 a.m., I don't want a woman that's like upset that I'm
You go
getting
with that.
out.
All right.
I actually wake up at 4 a.m., so it's rather like work out at 5 or 6 a.m. But like you want someone that's equally yoked. And it doesn't
Right.
mean they have to wake up at 4 with me, but like they enjoy fitness, they enjoy going to the gym, they enjoy taking care of themselves. And just because someone's aesthetically pretty, I just want to say this again: like it does not make them a good person. It doesn't make them better than anyone.
Not at
It
all.
just means they're probably going to get the first look. Like if I like when you play basketball on back in the day in school and whatnot, you see
Right.
somebody out there dunking, like you like, I'm taking him.
Right.
Doesn't mean he
Clearly.
can dribble, doesn't mean he can pass well. It's just like I saw something that sparked me right away. I'm like, oh, he's athletic.
Right.
And then I
Absolutely.
might realize the dude can't play. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to play with him again. But it's the same thing. Like you could be, if you don't take care of yourself aesthetically, you could be the most beautiful person, and you're the one missing out on connection and opportunities because you're getting passed up. Not because you're not a good person, it's because you're not taking care of yourself.
Right.
You don't look dedicated.
Yeah.
Like let's again, spade to spade. Like if I look at someone that's fit and I look at someone that's not fit, in my mind, I'm like, this person is serious about their health, their mental, all these things, and this person might be a great person, might even be a better person in terms than the person that's fit. But there's something about motivation, discipline, and determination to me that kind of outweighs,
Right.
supersedes just being a good person.
Right.
It's easy to be a good person because you have to compensate for all the things you're not doing to take care of
That part
yourself.
too. Sometimes I feel like we've run across people who try to compensate with them not taking care of themselves by being a good person, by
Funny,
having other
yeah.
intangibles, smart, funny. And, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying like, but the real issue is, but are you good to yourself? Because you can be good to other people, but if you're not good to yourself, eventually there will be a backlash that will show up
Yep.
in your relationship at some point in time. The lack of self-esteem, right? And
Yep.
so now segue into the fitness things, and we started talking more about fitness.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, you can kind of reiterate some of the stuff you just said. What is it about a person that is fit and consistent? Because there's attractive people, but then there's attractive people because they've worked on themselves, right? Because they go to the gym every day, because they eat healthy. What is it about those subset of people that make them extra sexy versus just physically sexy?
Well, it's no different than like you meet someone who's rich. You know they're the top 1%, 2% of the world. So you meet someone that's worth $1 billion, you're like, there's something he knows or she knows that I don't know.
Yeah.
And so when you put it into fitness, it's like when you look at someone who's in shape and has the discipline to wake up every day and you're not doing that, you're like, ooh, there's something they're doing right because they look happy, they look great, they have a pizzazz about themselves. And then furthermore, eventually, like, father time always catches up. So
Right.
you might get away at 25, 30, 35 even, some people 40 years old with not working out, not eating healthy, not being disciplined in the gym or, with fitness. But eventually, like, your health's gonna catch up
It
to
will
you.
show.
And so for me, I'm thinking long term,
Yeah.
whether it's someone I'm dating, a friendship, a job, a goal. Like I'm thinking, like, okay, what does it take to get to the next level? Then that's what fitness is. It's about staying ahead of the curve, staying
Yeah.
ahead of the trend. It's not about right now. And I think a society, because it's an instant gratification society that we live in. With social media and Instagram and Facebook,
Yeah.
it's about right now. You see what you want. You're like, oh, I can go on a Hinge, or I can go get this right now.
Right,
And it's
right.
like, yeah, that's cool right now. But what about 10 years from now? What does that look like? Where are you? Where's your mental? Where's your physical? Where's your health then? And it's like people are so concerned with the right now that they're not thinking ahead like they used to. They're not planning ahead
Right.
for retirement or for marriage or when they have kids. Like what about when you have two kids and you're 55 years old? Can you
Yeah.
play with them still? So I'm thinking about those things. It's not just about having a girl or a guy having a girl that's just sexy right now. It's like I want us to be able to be equally yoked and enjoy life together for as long as God allows us to be on this earth. I want to
Absolutely.
enjoy it. I don't want to be bedridden. I don't want to, God forbid something happens to my wife if I ever get one.
I guess we'll never know.
But I don't want her to be like bedridden just
Yeah.
because she's old.
Yeah.
Like if it gets, if it's something that's you can't help, that's different. And I'm gonna stand beside her. But I just want someone that cares about themselves the way I care about myself. Like
That's real.
and this season of my life, it's like that's all that matters to me. Anyone that gets in that, as you know, anyone that's gonna get in the way of like my goals and what is good for me, because I've given so much,
It's
they're
about
just not. It's a wrap. They're
Yeah.
not for me, and I think there's such a big discrepancy, almost like with the word sexy. People look at it negatively of like loneliness, because I've been spending a lot of time by myself, but I feel like that's because I'm happy with myself. And
Yeah.
for me, it's solitude, like it's peace. And I think that people need to learn how to be at peace with themselves.
Yeah.
And then once they realize what that feels like, they'll say, "Ooh, I don't want to lose this feeling." And then it can segue into fitness. Sometimes you have to reverse engineer things. It's like
Yeah.
what makes you happy, what makes you feel at peace, and you'll realize that oftentimes, your lack of energy or the way you feel is going to relate back to fitness.
Yeah.
And that could just be taking a walk, going on a hike, being in nature, going on a jog. Like, it's not always about taking creatine and protein powder and
Right.
working out for 3 hours. It's about the little things, just taking care of your mental. Fitness encompasses a lot more than just the gym.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree 100%. Obviously, we're huge proponents for it. I also, getting back to the relationship stance from when you're picking a partner, especially once you're bought into the fitness
Right.
lifestyle, I think that a lot of people, men and women, don't realize that, if you're looking for a husband or you're looking for a wife, you are looking ahead. You're looking at how do you take care of yourself now, especially a man looking at a woman, right? I'm looking at if you struggle to take care of yourself now, what's going to happen when we have two kids? Because as you have a kid, some of your life energy is drained. You have a kid, it's taking life force out of you. So if you already don't have enough energy or discipline to take care of yourself now, what's going to happen when we have two kids and you're just, more than likely, you're not going to have that vitality.
Yep.
Men.
And we understand that. That's
Yeah.
normal, and we get it. That's why, like, when I'm in the gym and I see an older woman, like, working out, like the 50-year-old trainer and the other woman that's like 55 and looks incredible, it's so
Admirable.
admirable.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I'm
just
like,
good to
she
see.
cares. She cares about herself even after children and at this age. Like, it's just dope to see when women and men are older and they still want to take care of themselves. They haven't just given up on life. Like, well, I'm 60 now, so who cares? It's like,
Right.
no, it doesn't have to be that way. I saw a
Absolutely.
picture on Instagram that it was funny. It showed what people look like at 50 years old back in the 1960s and what people look like at 50 years old today, and the discrepancy was crazy. Like,
Right, right.
looking at like Tom Cruise, and yeah, surgery and all other stuff can happen, but like at the core, you still have to take care of yourself. You
Absolutely.
still have to care to take care of yourself to look that way at 50 or 60 years old, like a Halle Berry. So it's important.
I will say, I
important.
feel like we're more knowledgeable about the need for fitness than ever. I think
Oh,
back
sure,
then it
sure.
was like a fad.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
wearing tights because it's the summertime. But now I think people know that fitness should be a part of their daily lifestyle. Whether or not they practice it, is another story.
Right.
But they know, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So the last question I wanted to pose to
Yeah.
you is, if somebody said, hey, like, I'm just at a low part of my life, I don't feel like I'm the greater version of myself, what would be the first few steps you would tell them to take to change that around? Because it's kind of hard when you've been locked into an identity. It's kind of hard to be like, all right, I'm going to reinvent myself. Like, what would be the, say, top 3 things you would tell them to do to change that?
Well, my brain thinks differently, so I'm not going to say what I would do personally, but what I would say others should do is spend time by themselves.
Okay.
I think whether you're going through a breakup or you lose a job or you're going through change or a divorce or whatever, people have a tendency to say, okay, let me latch onto something real quick so I can feel comfortable.
Right.
And you want to feel comfortable because you're not comfortable being by yourself. So I'd say, like, learn what makes, like I was saying earlier, learn what makes you happy, learn what gives you peace, and then start there. And you'll learn that to have peace and happiness, you need to have discipline. You need to be motivated by something, whether it's your children or being able to play with your children, being able to play with your grandkids, whatever that is. Like, learn what motivates you to be happy and to be at peace. And then you'll learn that typically that's going to go back to taking care of yourself.
Yep.
Mentally, physically, and emotionally. And the easiest way to do that is fitness.
Yeah,
And so it
absolutely.
always sounds like I'm just like preaching fitness, but it really, like, it's the core of everything.
It is.
And that's
It
what I'm
is.
so excited about this show, is to like bridge the gap between like fitness and romantic relationships, even, because people are like, oh, it's one or the other, or it's two separate things, and
Yeah.
it's really not.
They're so intertwined.
They're so intertwined. Fitness
Yeah.
is intertwined with everything, with work. It's like, if you can't be dedicated to take care of yourself, how are you going to be dedicated to run a team
Right.
of 20 other people
Yeah.
whose success is contingent upon you caring about them? But you don't care about yourself, but you're going to care about 20 people.
Right.
So it's like, for
Yeah.
me, spend time with yourself, figure out what makes you happy and peaceful, and then capitalize on that and, like, go for it. It's really simple. 3
Absolutely.
steps.
It's simple, but not easy.
Right.
Super simple, but not easy. I would say this. I would say start with God. Because when you root yourself back into God, sometimes we try to figure out, we think we're so smart as human beings. We're like, I can figure all this stuff out. But you always end up right back with God. Think about it. Every time you go through turmoil, they call it a crisis. Christ. I always feel like when you go back to the source and you say, wait, am I doing this right? let me really understand, like, build my connection, my foundation with God. You know, I'm a strong believer in God. When you build that foundation with Him and you sit with yourself in meditation, two things will happen. Obviously, you're building a better relationship with the source, but also he starts to reveal who you really are. So we think we know ourselves, but we're born, you know, onto this earth with a seed that we don't quite understand. We're trying to figure ourselves out every day, but God knows us already. So I feel like, me personally, I would say go back to your prayers and your belief systems and sit down with yourself in solitude so that you can review who you really are and why you've been going through some of the things you're going through. Take a review back on the play. Like when you watch NBA basketball, it's completely different now. The Lakers lost a game right now because they reviewed the play. Now, this was 15
That was
years
crazy.
ago. That would never have been reviewed.
Yeah, we were hot yesterday.
But the outcome of the games are different because they're looking back and they're saying, did we get it right?
Yep.
It's the same thing with meditation. It's like you go back and you review the plays and you really get in touch with, like, am I really moving the right way? And you check, cross-reference that with God's word, and I promise you're gonna find some discrepancies. The second step I would say is, once you come to the awareness and the realizations of what you're doing wrong, you have to love yourself enough to do something about it. There's a lot of people that do meditate, do pray, they do become aware of it, but something inside of them says, I still don't want to change it. You know, the truth is, we're in a spiritual battle. When you don't want to take care of yourself, that should be a huge red flag. You don't want to eat healthy? It sounds crazy, right?
does,
To us at
it
least.
does,
But we
yeah.
know that we have spiritual alignment, so it's not that hard for us. But there's a lot of people who are just not in spiritual alignment. So I would say find that alignment, sit with yourself, that meditation, then create a plan based on your newfound discrepancies that you need to fix. And then, like you said, start with the gym.
Yeah.
The gym is the quickest action that you can take to get your mind stronger, to get your body feeling better, because when your body feels better, you can handle life better.
Yep.
If your body already feels like trash, everything else is harder. Everything else is harder. But when your body feels strong and it feels good, when you go through tough times, your mind reminds you, by the way, you're still strong.
Right.
Like, so you should be able to get through it and stuff. So I think I would start there as the first three and just watch and see how that plays out. My personal take.
And for those of you that might not believe in God, which we both do very heavily, He's my savior. I say, like, you have to believe that there's something bigger than yourself.
Right.
Like there's something bigger than
That
you.
part.
So whether it's, you call it the universe, I call it God and Jesus, but if you call it the universe or nature or whatever, like, tap into that. And again, that goes back to that, like, spending time with yourself and being in solitude and learning how to be happy and at peace by yourself. And then realizing that there is something bigger than you, and maybe that'll restart, like, jumpstart your belief system and saying, okay, there is something bigger than me. How do I get closer to that?
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely, man. So any closing remarks before we get up out of here? Episode 1?
I love y'all, man. This is long overdue.
Yeah,
I love you, bro. I'm excited
Same.
to learn with all of you. I'm excited to teach the things that I've been taught by mentors, by my mother, by Q, by my friendships, romantic and platonic. Like, there's so much to talk about, and I want us to take this platform and make it a safe space for men and women to not battle, but to take accountability on both sides
Yep.
and understand how to
Real.
communicate more effectively, how to bridge the gap between each other, and just live in harmony. There's enough war and horror stories and negativity to go around for a lifetime. So when you're looking at Secrets to Sexy, like, know that you're coming here to learn, to grow, and to find peace and happiness.
Same. I can piggyback off of that. We're here for personal growth only. You know, we've had enough collisions when it comes to comparisons and, you know, who did what and who's to blame. At the end of the day, we're just here to help you grow. We're here to help you find your sexy, which is really just mastering your connection with yourself and God. And once you find that connection, you find yourself, it's pretty much just an open path from there. You know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to execute, and you can do it and feel good about yourself. So, man, I'm excited about the channel. It's been a long time coming.
I'm coming.
We're doing it. I love you too, brother.
Yeah.
This is Secrets to Sexy.
Secrets to Sexy.
Subscribe to the page, like, comment, share with some friends you feel like could grow from this channel. Give us some feedback. We would love to hear more about what you want to talk about.
Yeah. Topics, please.
Yeah, topics. And let's get it going. Take care.
See y'all next time.
God bless.